Hi, Miguel Kakaninden here, back with another Naruto vlog. Today we're doing Volume 4, Hero's Bridge, and I gotta say, it's a really satisfying conclusion to the conflict that was built up in Volumes 2 and 3. I, um, I actually, I really like the demonstration of skill that's put forth with, Kakashi, uh, utilizing his senses to defeat his enemy, and Zabuza and Haku revealing the extent to which they're not just like they're not just cold-blooded killers. They are human beings, and which they manage to separate from the ninja code being like you cannot shed tears. The end of the battle was all about that emotion, right? And I find it interesting how they set up this concept. Supposedly at the end of Volume 3, Sasuke was killed, which I knew Sasuke wasn't dead. I mean, like, even if I hadn't seen Sasuke in like a lot of Naruto stuff, if I hadn't seen him in Jump Force or any of the other Naruto games or in the anime that I've seen bits and pieces of, even if I hadn't seen him there, I could probably guess that Sasuke, he wasn't dead. But when Sakura discovers this, she sheds tears, and she mentions she mentions to Tazuna that the one of the rules of being a ninja is you can't let emotion get in the way of your mission. You cannot shed tears. The mission has to be completely in your heart. But she's saying this as she's crying. And as Tazuna is telling her, it's okay, let it all out. That's an interesting way of setting it up, because at the end of the day, emotion is what causes Naruto to lose control. It's what drives him to do what he does at the end of the battle, and it's also what drives Haku and Zabuza to do the same thing. We learn first of all about Haku. Haku gets completely overwhelmed by the nine-tailed fox spirit in that Naruto taps into, which, by the way, major cliffhanger at the end of Volume 3. The one thing that kind of annoyed me about Volume 4 was that I feel like when Naruto did tap into the spirit of the nine-tailed fox, or Kyuubi as I'm told it's called, it felt very underwhelming, to be perfectly honest. Like, I remember that last panel, seeing the spirit, like, rise up out of Naruto. I'm like, oh my gosh, how is this going to end? And he just uses it for a little bit. And Kakashi mentions, like, it hasn't fully escaped, it hasn't fully taken over, and that can be used to our advantage, but we gotta be careful. And I thought, okay, that's fair. Like, we want to save some fox spirit for, later stuff, in the series. But still, I was really looking forward to seeing how that spirit would have changed stuff, because Sasuke and Sakura still don't know, and I forgot that Sakura didn't even see the fox spirit, right? At least she had no idea that it was coming from Naruto, and Sasuke, being supposedly dead, didn't see it either. So the secret's still technically safe. But like, I was really expecting more. I wanted more out of that one. But that's just one small gripe. But when Naruto defeats Haku, Haku actually asks Naruto to kill him because he feels he has failed Zabuza, and this makes it interesting because Haku is he's not just his henchman, or his, like, the person who is blindly following Zabuza, or someone who Zabuza manipulated into following him. He actually holds a lot of respect for Zabuza after having been cast out due to having this special ability that apparently Sasuke has. Again, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. I'm horrible with these names. That's why I have most of them written down. But due to having this power, he is all alone, and Zabuza was the one person who took him in. Given Granted, Zabuza only took him in because of that latent ability that he can use to his advantage. At least that's how it seems at first. But then when Haku eventually ends up taking a fatal blow from Kakashi to save Zabuza, which actually, like, Naruto ends up really feeling bad for him, to the point where Zabuza was when it's shown that Zabuza doesn't seem to care that Haku has passed away. Naruto flies into a rage. He's like, this person took a killing blow for you. He looked up to you. He had this very special way of looking at you, and you're not even going to acknowledge his death. And Zabuza turns and he has tears in his eyes, and you're like, oh my gosh. Which is interesting. Like, we see a lot of bad guys who, whenever their minions die or, you know, are in danger, they just don't care. They're so single-minded on their on their goals. They're so motivated by what they want to achieve that they just don't care when their minions are axed. So that makes Zabuza, for me, a bit of a more interesting character. We see Gato finally appear on the scene, and it turns out that he double-crossed Zabuza. He had never intended to pay him, and I'm sorry, his suit and tie is still very jarring to me, but I complained about that last episode. So he ends up attacking both Zabuza and Kakashi's little posse with all the thugs and henchmen that are a lot cheaper to hire. It was very clever, actually. His intent was to wear out the ninja and then dispose of them and let his henchmen take care of the rest. Which it's clever. It's clever. It's a lot cheaper for him. But I think he very much underestimated the will of Zabuza and Naruto and the rest of the group he very much underestimated them, because Zabuza ends up sacrificing himself to take out Gato, and when Gato's down, Naruto and Kakashi, despite having been extremely fatigued from the battle with Zabuza and Haku, they are able to use the last of their power to trick the thugs that Gato still has left into thinking, oh, we are hopelessly outnumbered, run away, you know? But yeah, it felt like a very satisfying conclusion. I liked the way that Zabuza and Haku went out. I think they went out with such beauty. I'm glad that they weren't just reduced to a threat. They had a history. They had emotions, and you know, at the end of the day, those emotions are what drove them to do what they did at the end of their lives. And I'm glad that not only did they seem to get what they deserved emotionally, Kakashi and Kakashi and Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura and everyone else, they recognized that and they paid respect to that, and they actually buried them. And it's kind of touching, actually. It felt very sweet. And Inari also, having learned from Naruto, having grown as a person, manages to rally the villagers to his cause to help fight off Gato's thugs, which I also feel is a great way to see Inari how he's grown from his time spent with Naruto. So, like, really, really, really satisfying conclusion. And the rest of the volume is actually dedicated to the exam for, I believe it was called the shonen, which are I believe are the journeyman level ninja, which is the next level that Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura hope to achieve. That's going on in Konohagakure village. And we see we see Master Iruna return, and he ends up having a bit of a spat with Kakashi because Kakashi, for whatever reason, ends up saying, "Okay, my three students, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, are ready to take the exam," but Iruna's like, they were just in my class. They weren't ready. They weren't even ready to be the next level ninjas yet. That was like just, I don't know, last week. I forget how much time has passed. I don't think it's even mentioned. But they definitely haven't been in their level for that long. They need to learn more and experience more before they can even be considered for the next level. And Kakashi's like, I'm sorry if it upsets you, but this is my decision and I stand by it. And besides, they're not your students anymore. They're my soldiers. You need to respect that. And I'm curious to see how Iruna's going to approach this, if he's going to approach this at all, because we've seen in the first volume that he has a very special connection to Naruto. We see that he really does want them to succeed. So I wonder if he's going to have any interaction with them at all, if he's going to help them prepare, or maybe if he wants to talk them out of it. It's really interesting, really interesting. I wonder, I know Kakashi has seen what they can do firsthand, which leads me to wonder, like, how do people see these ninja differently? Especially with Naruto having the spirit inside him and whatnot. We also get to see, by the way, the exam, I think the exam is going to take place next volume, or we're going to have another more focus on the exam and the students taking the exam in volume 5. But we meet a lot of the students who are taking this exam alongside Naruto and company. We finally meet Gaara. I have encountered Gaara before from some of the games that I've played, and actually I believe he's a fan favorite. I don't really know, but I'm excited to see what he can do. So we finally have some people from the village in the sand, right? So I'm excited to see how he plays into the story. Also, what he's capable of doing. We've seen people from with mist powers, and I forget what the people from Konohagakure Village specialize in, but I'm sure it's cool. I'm sure Gaara is going to be different. I'm sure he's going to have some different some different techniques that he's going to incorporate, and I'm really excited to see that. We also meet Rock Lee, who seems to have a thing for Sakura, interestingly enough. I'm excited. The volume ended with him challenging Sasuke to a fight. I'm guessing it's for due to competing for Sakura's heart. All these people in love with Sakura, I don't understand. Sasuke doesn't even care, by the way. He just it was a flat out no whenever Sakura asks him out. So that dynamic hasn't changed, by the way, which is interesting. By the way, I forgot to mention that Sasuke's not dead. I think I mentioned that before, but Haku purposely did not kill Sasuke. Anyway, we finally meet them. Their characters are, well, Gaara's character at the very least is kind of set up. He has his accomplices. He doesn't really want to he doesn't really want to cause any unnecessary upsets in Konohagakure Village, and Sakura mentions that ninja from their village are not allowed in Konohagakure Village without a specific purpose, which provides a little bit of insight, I think, into the relationship between the ninja of different villages. Like, are we worried that there's going to be an invasion of some sort, or like if there are going to be ninja who infiltrate each village? Like, is there a rivalry going on? And I kind of want to see how that plays out. This world is fascinating. I really want to learn like more. I wish there was like a big, massive like encyclopedia of Naruto's world. But I'm sure that'll get revealed eventually, and I'm really excited to see how it gets revealed when it does. I think that's all I have to say about this. I part of me kind of wishes that the volume was more focused on like either the end of the bridge of the bridge caper or the beginning of the exam. I kind of wish it was focused on one instead of the other, and we focus the other for a completely different volume. But that's just the way these. I suppose that's just the way it was serialized, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. I just like, as a person like making reactions to these stories per volume, I kind of wish I could focus on one instead of the other. But that's a minor gripe. That's a minor gripe. I liked this. Again, very satisfying conclusion to the bridge, to the battle on the bridge, and really interesting setup to see these characters come into play in the exam. And I'm sure there are a lot more characters we're going to meet. We met two of the other mentors whose names I forgot to write down, so I don't remember their names. I'll write them down after this. But I saw a lot of the students under there, a couple of which I recognize from, again, games and other Naruto media that I've interacted with in the past. So I'm excited to finally meet these characters and see how they play into the story. So, yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time for Volume 5.